Order.
Tawrok. Nang kinakaon. I don't know. No? Or it's... Ouch. Nami.
Our land and for the constant recognition of the dignity and aspirations of those whom we serve.
Muna mita ka nunapting ni muna kihurok. Kata kano ka nunapting nunaptik ko na ukalang niyak tung kata kano ka habaw takihuga to na nunapting ni ituat nunakputa kano ka isok niaklu kano ka habaw takihuga to na. Ukata kano ka nakuhiniaklu mani nunapting ni nuna kano ka isok niaklu man na nunakput. Hunago ka atlas tanik tuntay na. Kano ka kuato atoruga to na kihula ka public ni ka tayhugat. Kano ka nakura ko na tunay sugu na nunakput mani. Nakukinyaklu improving. Kano ka kuata malota liok luita standards nik tayo at kano ka uhima nunakputa nakuro ko na isokin yaklu na nagalunin malota liok na yaklu kano ka mani nunapting ni atok mata. Ukota ka kano ka habang matatabra kano ka
Performance measures.
tamat ko kikani akluit mani nunapting ni atutingat tablo tamat ko taok ilo katatay na habaw takiblu taman na tutkikani ari put kano kinyo ni ako tikrangat mani nunamingi kuya nakpak unahin ang niyakto lakirinin minitak ko ukalang niyaktok tabraw ko at mat ko atit na utok kanat ublule akra kalwabutin na kano tinagalanin na ingming nigili tayo na inyo na akimarut. Ukot uwan niya kapirit inyo hibon niya tayo na tamat ko atit na isumatira kagayat anak tuwala kalwatigun. Taman nalo tayo na tamat ko tawkit na tutkikani akaluit tayo na habalay chot inuit kanok kinyawanik atutik rangin nikin na isumalu takadakibut tap ko tay na kublugit. Tabrap to kinyaranik tamani na ilyakirut. Tabralut tay na utok natin na ikayutik ranginik. Ikayutik ranginik isumalu aktut. Tabralo tay na agalak to akluit tutkok to akluit tamat ko at hurakauting itin nalo June 15 mi tam na ubuluk rakalit kat tamat ko at utok kanat tay nalo tamat ko at na inyunek to at isuatun inyunek kublugit inyunek to at tay na isuatun tawak ang alat kublugit tam na isumatigipere put ukakti tamat ko at na malako tali ukapta tamat ko alo na isuak to akun tay na isuak to amig tay na malako tali ukaktugod litsurin manip tawak NWT mi kanok angala rutik rangat isumalugit akibut tay na isuatun angala tsuklugit. Tabrap tawak ilokata tay na ataw tsikun habagtugut matkot habakati giblugit ilihimarot tay na nagaluni habagtugot tamani tay na hini tamatkot utok kanat pigiblugit. Tabralo tay na nitakakait tawak tay na ilihimarugut piakluk takkangit matkot utok kanat tay na piwak tangit tay na ukiumi umani tabrali tsukik kabut kanok piakluk takaning ngat utok kanat tamat ko kanok tay na koting tabra taw chimuk ti takakibut katimapkak ti takalugit na ilitsukanya piakota kanok ikayudik raptingnik. Alas makitir igiloan niptawak tabra niptawak tap ko tabra matkot piyakalaktot utok kananik tap ko tahin tay na tabrungak tilara kibut na tutkikatak tilui kanu harawtingit tabrani na piyakalaktuani. Tabrap tawak tay na ilitsakifao ko fitap ko del NWT mi inuvialuktun nalaktuaktut tamat ko nga kanuharawtik. Tabrap tawak tamani NWT mi inutakakit tay na inyunekimarut. Tabralo tay na mani na inawrani ituat ilitsukip kakaluit. Tabralo tawak tamawang kakahawaratikun ilitsukip kakanakamiut. No. Humunlaka na nilaka inyunekalawak tilutin mani Northwest Territories ni. NWT ni tay nahimik tap tuminga nakatimarakaligit siya tutok kanat ingming yun ikayuti nik ilya kanya ako ting tabrani tabratay na ako ting katimarak tutamani. Tabrelo kanyik mani inyunek to at pigibluit. Isuma tay na tutkikanek lugit inyunek ako ting itamat ko tutok kanat ko yanakpak. Ilulakiro tahin. Minyahitangat. Tabra ukwat mani Northwest Territories ni. Minyahitawra nga. Tabra mani. Kafe ko haluit tabra apekru takaragayt. Ukakti. Tabrap tawak tay na ilokata na ilihimagigput taman na hapekrak to at iglulakiro atigun. Tabralo tay na kabamauro at mani iglulakiro ani na katimarak to at nagaluni. Tabalu tait na iglulakirot. Iglulakirot it na tauchimukuting na mani Northwest Territories ni kawamakaktot. Tait na katimarakaligit tap muna iglulakirot igun. Tabalil chokanya ako ting kanya ako ting kanok tamat ang alaruting inyik. Nagalune kanok iglulakirot nik tamat ko YouTube luring at avan mun iglulakirot ni habaktot. Nagaluni tamane ilihimarot kanuharaw ting inyik iglulakirot ni tamane inini. Tabalu tauchikunit na habakati aktugut. Tabalu una hoa mahilugu na ataramik habaw takihukalo akikput isumati kaptigo. Tabalu na tabra ilulakirot ubagut. Tabra kangakitiluta inyuek dodin na inyuek dod habaw takirakrayib tibut inyuek dod mani iglulakironi tait na ilokata. Tabrap tawak tait na ataramik ilhuatun pilayat kalawaktung atabra tait na ataramik tawak tamatkod sumalugidakit kat iglulakironi. Tabralu tapkod habakatigilugit na tait na tapkod GNWT nagaluni kawamantigun itwa na tabra tauchiko katigilugit na tauchikuni tamat ko tutkikaya rebut itwadun kuya nakpak ukakti. Bacha. Ukakti kuya na ukakti. Ublupak aldanga sauraktok ukawti-krawtiga. Ukakira-krawtiga. Tabralo tamatkot na umialugudot na habang ihakoting tamatkolo tamatkot na habang niya ako ting pingitsut, tamat ko tawak tait na ukod o kautigilaw kita. Tamalalo kanok isumatigim magan, wani tabrad malayo ka takamat, tamat ko dit na tamat ko atok himagit ka, isumaptigun nagalunin, kanuharaw titigun tabertam na atok himagiga. Dahil na tawak tabrahibonak tam na wakaw tigin nangat kigay na nalop kigiblugup tawak hibonik raw tikput. Dahil na pilyahilugu pinyangit kiga pang mapak tabrap tawak. Tait na kinyawanik kihenik tawak tabra ilihimagibut tamatkot kinyawanik pakakakata tamatkot na habaw takilait kibut. Tabralu tait na atugang waktut tamatkot tabra atok ukto kakalwaktun na ta. Tait na lutay. Tabralo tait na miktigun tait na habakaktot. Tabralo tamat ko na pigo malaychut tamat ko nga isumakoting. Tabralo tait na tamat ko isumatigipay tamat tait na kawamaurot. Tabralo tait na hibun niyok tilaw takakoting. Ininyong hibun niyok tauro amik hibun niyok tukramik. Tap tuminga tabra pikakakating tamatkod ang alalaw talait guys. Kuya nakpagkakakti. Naga tingit pan Okafalang nektunga tabra amalegurunga tabra tabachamin tabra umatimnyan okolektunga uminga.
Should be passionate about the subject, and it should also accomplish positive changes. As leaders, we should also make sure that we are not making
Ilokata tabra hibunnyok tawragut matkot isumatiran na yakibut ilokata. Mani Northwest Territories ni habaw takay kaptigit mani nunapting ni ilokainik tamatkot inyunayaktuat ilihimagibut. Tabra tamatkot tay na tabra tamat kuningay na inyugayaktuanik chief kaktut. Kapitchanik tangungitchonik itut. Mani Northwest Territories ni lahat ni tay na isumalakaktunga. Tabra okakak natin na isumi orakakotin okalahikirutin. Tamat ko tabra pikana kitay na angalachilaw talay chitin. Kuyunakpak.
Mampuimin yung kalang niyaktak. Kuyanak. Uvlupak ka kanoka kakin lang niyariga una kuata kanoka palihimata hakuta kihugay ta kuata inuita ay mabimni kachumi. Kuata inuita tangungit chadu kuata kanoka ivlutorman inu kaming una kanoka isok takun inyungit kaloktut kanok kuata pisu karmata kuata Pihuruto, kuata nutakaluni nangaluni na inyait. Kuata inyait ama. Kuata kanoka, kuata palihimata kanoka. Pichukaro ay inuit mani inuit tangungit chat nutakat lun nagaluni inyait. 6 nika ukada okalingin niya akanat kanoka hingilaran inunia kaming kanoka colonialism nika tayhugatuna hingilaran inunia mata ukata palihimata kanoka pisukarugay tikuatinuita tangungitsa tukuat kanoka akananika pisuka kaming kanoka pinyak ukata akanat agna anu kafalang niyaktunga kafalang niyaktunga mampuimin 2019 ukat kanoka apekroy kaming National Enquirer migtay hugato na apekroy kaming nunapting ni police services ko got kanoka palihimat habang mata.
By colonialism, racism, bias, discrimination, and fundamental cultural and societal difference.
Got got kanok habang kaming palihimat na kurokun habang naktok. Got Inuit mani got indigenous people niktay hugay to got tanungitchat. Got anu pikri falang niyak tunga. Twin Lakes me. Got ilihakving me, three me, got ilihak dot Inuvi campus min got nachirot kanok got nachirot ilihak dot koyanak parak 2018 got 61.3 dun got ilihak dot nachilin yakut 83.1% dun kanok 33.1% yalan na 31.2%. Got kanok got aglite stats niktay hugay kanidun got ihak dot nachilin yakut. Got got kanudun havakalokted aglan kanok got kanok ilihakna kaming pilsukarud araki got igluichut nagalunin kanok ubani makitarong mani got ilihak dot wakakiniakluit ilichoriniakluit kanok inurot kuyanak here south me wakalang niakto huvat got kanok anerotit kanok got anertot kanok chronic diseases niktay hugay to got anerurot kanoleka got anertot aner pararut kanok anerotit angirut got anerotit angirut got anerotit tamat ko kanok disease niktay hugay to got anerotit tap got marahichot federal government ikayul lang nakirit got kanok Inuvialuktun ikayoqnaqqirut got qanorliqa anniarutinik that got 49.07 government got qanoqa ikayorugait got qanorliqa anniartot ukunanik chronic disease nik taihugait got anniarutit tap got anniaraniaq qanoqa got anniarutit qanoqa taikulangniaritka anuguptaqa uqaruffarittunga here rimina uqafallangniartuq qoyanaq uqaqti qanoqa ikayoqnaqqiritukuata ikayoqnaqqiritukuata anniarurut qanoqa 20,000 per year got 20,000 to adult got qanoqa ikayuñiarlugita tap got anniartot got ikayoqnaqqirut got
Thank you, member for Haver South. Member statements. Member statements. Member for Dechu.
Mr.
qoyanaq uqaqti got qanoqa nutaqqanik munarihurut qanoq child and family services nik taihugatuna malirutaq got mandate mik taihugatuna qanoq malirutin got in nutaqqat munariñaqqirut got qanoq got ngiyuqattauqa qanoq nutaqqating munariñarhugait got got inuit qanoq got angiyuqaangit ikayorlugit qanoq nutaqqating got nutaqqat pisukarmata qanoq ikayorniaqugait got qanoq got nutaqqating social services nik pimmata nutaqqating qoyanaq Yellowknife North qoyanaq mis uqaqti qanoq huna uqat qanoq habaqpat uqat qanoq iglunik igilukta uqat qanoq habangnaqpat code niktai huga to got kanoka malirota lionek tota maligludit kanoko got code niktai hugait. Got kanoka pinyak padugot kanoka nakuro kuna malirota lit malikluit maling neakluit. Got kanoka got mani igluli ang mata kanoka munarinak tutugot kanol got li kanoka got kanoka igluli niak tot kanoka munarinak tut adaki got him hekome hekomechurita nakungi chonik iglunik pimmata. Got malirutaning chita got mani housing malirutaliung chit mani nunapting ni. Got kanoka got nakura kun aulaki nyakpat koyanak Cam Lakeman. Got okari lang nariga kanoka taima rurot nyuita kanok suicide ning tahu gai to got ingming yun one person dies 11 people to na 11 Inuit tokohur tayo na kan ingming yun ingming ni ka tokod kami. 11 times to na got kanoka Inuit tap got ingming yun tokod tot. Kanoka got kanoka in your neck coming kanoka isong ichomika kanok neck pita got nudakat got munakrinak tudukot tain pinyak tot ingming yun. Got kanoka munakrinak tut got munalakiri to got inuit tain anek tot nutakat nutakat heavy hurut got anek tot ingmingnik. Got kayonak kirut. Got mental health make tai huga to got kanok anek tot timing sarnik aglan neakunik anek tot kuyanak.
Member statements, member for Framley.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. There are some issues I'd like to follow up on.
Tabrokot kulelang niyakat kaut maunga pulakto at tamatkot takpabanga. Tabraw na tam na kulek kakagpakrapak. Ikpakrapak kulek kakatabar tamatkot mani nunapting ni na May 27 May tabar tamatkot na tabarlo tayo na iharaw to tamat ko nga atan ne kong tukrawin kalawakay ta kutsik to ni Inuit tayo na ingmi tao ka iharaw kuming tamat ko at nut kakti takrawin kalawakay tabar tanungit siya tabar tayo na kuting Inuit to at tamat ko nga kay yego tiro akarirakay tayo na tamat ko nga atan ne kokto iso aking iluwit ing miktaw ka na kano hekakanak tilak raming nikilanip isumalo lakaktot tabalap tayo na kanok titakanak tilak rang ito na ukot mat kuning agalanik na kuleak tanik agalak tanik
traditional heritage items.
tabalap tayo Inuit mat ko na tayo na ingmiktiun piliwak tang na ilihawri tukrangit tamat kuning tabar tayo na ataramik hulio kakto ding miktiun tabrap tayo ko na tabar una pekruta kakay una minihitaw rak minihitak ilihakto ni kanok tamat ko at alaging magata na inipet na galuni tangungit suat kanok alaging magata kanok hok tamat ko nga agalak tanik pilatak kating pilait pat kayo nakpa ko na tabraw na mani Northwest Territories ni na tayo malak takto at tabra ilihidit chokibut tabarlo tayo naptawak tayo na tamat ko nga igilokak to crowd ikayo niya ako tamat ko nga tayo malar niya aktuanik tamat marihelong nik nagalo ni tangak tuang ilaya kuting tabatam na ukot na ingmik ilingit ataw himik takak to crowd ilihimaramik ingmik tigun tayo na ataw himik kihianik takak to crowd tapto mailihimawa kamagay taktiraw tabralo tayo naptawak tamat ko talang na himaw hekanak kirut tayo na anyak to alakirit tabralo tamat ko din na tayo tangala takto at na igiluiluting nagalunin o kakatikilayluting nagaluni tamat ko nga ikayok tonik ibak pakit sila iluting tabralo tabartaw tayo na ukto kakalawak to tayo makanya payukuting ingmingnik aglan tayo naptaw igiluiluting tak ikayok tikayluting ikayo igurak tonik pakit sila iluting tabralo tamat ko na NWTMI tamat ko di tsaka nakirut nagaluni anyak to alakirini habak to at nagaluni tamat ko di lokanya ki tamat ko atawlugit o kaurirot tamat anyak to anik nagaluni tayo malayak takto anik tamat ko di lokanya ilokatingin na habaw takarikurakaluang atam na tabar pamapakhuli alangong itsaka ngekro apakro takigalawak tiluni nagaluni no kauti galawak tiluni tabarlo tayo na tait na inawalaning miktigun taok o kakadakrakigalawa tam na. Kaya pag great slave Tabernaga tawngit pan ako falarok. Taberlo tait na iglo kaktu crowd na tangala sani iglo kaktu crowd. Tait na tangak taman na tautung na chuamik. Taberlo tait na taima iglo laki rit matkod isumalo o kakalihyung. Matkod ing mignon ikayuin niya akto ding mignon inyo heming yun tait na tamatkod na iglo tigun o kauti na kerut. Kaya nakpak. Kaya nakukakti. Taberlo tait na nekto lakadinik o kauti lang neriyatam na. Taberlo tait na taberlo tait na inyuekto tait na tao kan nekto akto ataramik. Taberlo tait na inawrani to tait na kamakita kagait. Ikayo ni relate kait. Taberlo baptik kun tait na ikayo tiblu tatamatkot annekto at inyuetin na ikayo na payuaki ibut baptik kun. Taberlo tait na tao isumalaraktut. Isumangatin na huinyaliraktok tait na ni umihulekoting nagaluni na piyo akalek talekoting inyong nik. Tait na koting taber tait na tam na ukakilaw kaya taberlo tait na ingming yun pinya tokon na koting taber tait na inyo na lakto tamatkot na tutkikala kamatigit nagalunin ikayok tikraming ni gibakalakalaw koting tamatkot pakitsila koting. Tamatkolo tait na Tylenol marahit tait na hiniktaok taber ataramik piwala koting. Taberlo tait na tamatkodin na ilitsokin akige gay tamatkod annek toala kirini habaktit. Taberlo nutakaki tait na nangipiaktut pang mapagkanok heraw timingnik na allanga hevluni ikayo ni rakne akalwak tiluting tait na allanga hevluni tam na isumalaraktut. Ing miktaok tait na munakrirot isumalarakoting tait na isumangitaw ko inyalimiraktok tait na ikayo ni akalwakoting. Taberlo tait na tait na tamatkodin na annek tola kirini habaktot nagalunin munakrirot tait na annek tola kirinik tait na tamatkot tabre kayok agakrakalawangit tait na inawalan itot. Tabre kinya tamat kuning angalat siba. Tabre tao na nutakakini hapekrakto ni inritchok. Tabre tamatkodin na tabre inyuektot tamayanik kibut na tamattumuna ingming yun tokor taktot tabre ta inyuekirut. Tabre tait na tamatkop taok tabre tait na tam na pekruta kahrunga no paya ko annek tola kiritya minihitangan nun. Kaya nakpak. Tuna day wala day min. Satu min. Ukakti. February mi umanitat kakayutimi. Tabre lokata tabre ni katimaruani ubagut katimakpaktuani hibunni oktit. Tabre ataramik tabre una tuhara kaiga. Tabre taok tait na. Tamatkod annek tola kiritikun tabre tuharak tunga kafe koaklun kafe koakoting tamanna uqautigilaqigaat anniartualaqiluatigun tabra tainnaing mingnutauq tainna isumaallequting tainna isumangitinna tutqikhaangaaqni Mary Jane McDonald tabra tauq tabra quyagikparaliitkiga taamnaqqaimamanmaani tabra lutainna ilihimarpaktuaq matkuninga hunik qanuhinigilaqaaki ilihimarpaktuaq tabra niittuq tauqmaani tabra lutamaani Premier McDonald iloqaating Mr. Minihitawanniartoq McDonald tabra iloqanniktaitnap tabra Latera tabra quyagikparaliitkit kaukua qaimaruat maunga quyanarpak nautaima
Acknowledgement.
Acknowledgements nikataihugatuna qanuqa here of South Minuqallanniartuta ilia December me ukata 2020 me ukata una Sierra McDonald una qaqillang naariga ukata qanuqa Huvenil kuna aganayak ukata pirinyirait apirrinyirait ukata pingahonik hihamanika apirrinyiaqoq ihaqvik pangmungneaqneqoq University miktaihugat ukata Kuyanak. Kuyanak kay kapimanga. Here was South Mina kalang niyak to. Kuyanak.
Extended health benefits.
ukada apasutaqillang niaqatkai umua Premier Roman tabra qanoq tamatkuati na anniartualaqiluatigun tamatkuninga annialertuat Inuit qanoq allagikpat na qanuhinigilaqa annialeruulu tamatkuat tabra qanoq allagingngaanik ilitsoqiuktunga tabra iloqani tabra tamatkuati na minihitaram anniartualaqilini tabra taaptuma ilaatapiga tabra quyanarpak herevamin tabra taapkuninga apaqululaakami quyagaqparaliitkiga tabra lutaitna iloqatai na unanangittuaq inyuk isumagilaqsaaqigaluarikput illuatun tamatkuaptauq maani federal government tuharanartut qutsiktuanin kavamauruanin tamatkuat tuharanaruurut tautsikkuarrutaa na tautsikun tamatkuat tutqikharaniaariivut tabrallutaitna ataramik anniartuat qanhunilaqaaki anniarutsaquulut tabra pinaqaapak tabra taitna illu allakayamik malaqutaliamik piqqaqaniartugut pinaqaapak tabra lutaitna tabra ikayutiksaptingnikitna tamatkuninga marahinik ibakalaganiartugut qanuhinik allakayaqing magaitakili himaronik tamat kuninga ilitsoqiniarniartugut marihinik atulla na magaapta kuyanak River South kuyanak oqaqti tabrauna premium una isumaginiarpaung naagaluunniin qanuherallaqpaung tabralutait na tamatkoatit na nakororniakkangit mamirutikrangинникит наиварлиутиллавиу оqaqti tabraptaaq marahit matkot na tabratait na hinik qanorlaqa ikayullagivut tamatkot nangittuat ilitsueqqaaruting tamatkot ilihimaruatait na hinik tabratamatkoat tabralu maani na marahinik ilihimarpaktuamik piitsugut tabralu tait na qutsiktuaniptauq kavamauruat tamatkot kihiming tabra aglaan tabralu tait na tunaglaan na ilihimapiartutakpavani maani na nalupqehuguurugutaaptumuna tabralutait na tamanna tabra iluitsoq avaptingni iluitkaluartoq qanuq atuutiksrangit tapatkot marahit naagaluunniin mamirutiksrangit nanalupqehugutaptaaq tamatkun qajanarpak tabralutait na mamirutiksranginnikit na aitsullapatigit tamatkot nangittuat allakayaqingitpat matkot nangirutingit allakayaqikkaluartillugit mamirutiksranaq tabrauna uma aperruuttanga kiguutiksraqali naittoq tabra tamatkot nanniartualaqqilinihapaktuat ingmiktiguartut ilitsueqqaarnata qating tamatkuninga anniarutimik na tabralutait na tamatkuat akiliaqaluarnagitit na tait na marahinik aitsullagait kihiming ilitsueqqaarnagu qanuq anniaqatinga ilitsueqqaarnagu tait na tamatkuninga marahinik aitsullahilaqaaqi qinaqpak River South min qiyanak oqaqti tabralu taamna perruuttaqa akkupak tabrawanga kavamani naittua kavamani ittuanga ami kavamani na oqautigillanniaqat kaukua tabraptaaq tait na qanuq tamatkuat ikayutiksranganik taaptuma nangittuam aperruuttaqillaliitkiga tabra taaptuma tabra premierguram tait na tamatkuat qanuq isummatiginiarpatigit qiyanarpak tabrauna kiullangnaaligitsoq niartualeqsini tabralu tait na tamatkuat katimaringit na oqaqillanniaqait tabraptaaq tait na NWTimi tabralu tait na malaqutalianiineriñiiqqortaamna aperruuttan tabralu tait naptauq iloqatai na ilihimarugutumani tabralu tait na ingmiktiguttau kavamauruatit na tamatkuatit na illaqihimagait tamatkuninga aglaan tabratamna Tabrap taok tamat ko dit na kiulila kit pin tap kuninga. Tabralo tam na ilitsore piariga una, ilitsore kara una, o kautigid lang na ariga. Tabralo na kanok tamat ko dit na ikayutik rangin niya ke ilihimarugut pang mapak. Tabrelo kata ilihimarugut nangitoanik ilihimakapta inyong nangitoanik kanyak to kanyalay kibut. Tabre kayo ko na halugit pisakibut. Tabrelo tam na tabrelo tamat ko at minihitaw rotin na o kautigilugit tamat ko at pinyakit ka. Kuyanak o kakte. Tamat ko nuna niyak to lakirwati kun o kakatigil lang niyakit ka. Tabram tao ko na o pero takanyaki ka na tabra tamat ko tin na akilihurot akilifarot kabamanun taksinik pinakigay utakti chihurot kabamanun tabra ko kanok matkot angalat takay patigit kanok lutay na tabra lutay na matkot ilagay takay patigit ang miktiun kabamakaktuat nagaloni tangungitsot kuyanak tay chomin kuyanak o kakti tay chomin kuyana lalit kiga pakirok mga taptim muna apakiruta nga kaya giligit kiga 1998 mi tabralo tay na taldemani ukiw ni tay na kamilakay oktakra kaya lawangat ilitsura niya ako ting kano tinagalan tamat ko din na nutakatin na ilan ni akilyak para kakagay tamat ko at utimun akiliutik sanik. Tabralo tam na tait na munakari niyak to tamat ko nga tait na itok. Tabralo taok tait na angayok hangit nagaluni tamat ko din na ikayok takrati na itpata tabra tao chikun tay na tao chikun na nutakati na tamani na angayok kami ni itot tabra lutay na piyakakigay tamat ko nutakati ni tamanga ay mabingin yun 92% to nilihimarugutay na tabratay na matkot ala nun ay mabing yun ilirakigay tabralutay na piyakaliwit ta mga inaurangin yun awlaw tiblugit kuya nakpak techomen kuyanak kagulan tamna kiungit ka tabra apasuta ka tabra kuyayak parlit kiga tapte mga kiulang mga
child discipline. This act has far-reaching implications.
tapkop tabra apasutat ka tabra na apasuta ka kanok titakanak pasunguna ukot nutakakay angayok hangit kanokoting na ilitsarap kalaniak pati tap kuningan nutakanik piyak kuming aglan 25 tinukiyo ni tamat ko na malakudalya tukot pimagibut 25 tinukiyo ni tayo na tinaglan tabar nitot malakudalya nitot tabar nutakakit na nutakhanik munakrihurot kuat tait na ataramik tait na tamna itokle aglan nalapke huktunga tabra tamna tabra kanokating na ang yokatit na ilitsarap karneak tila krangit yung tamna nalapke gidlaki tamna te chomin kaya na ko kakte. Tabra tao ko kuat apakrutat ka tabra. Tabra kuat tuhalay kiut kanok ang laruting itang ang nutak katigun. Tabra lutay na tao ka tayo na ing miktigun. Tanngong itchot tayo na kanuharaw tingin niya ka tuhara na itchok. Tabra ilitsarap ka kogalo na katamat ko tayo na nutak katigun. Tabra lutay na tamat ko tayo na munakrihurot yung nik Kinara naglu ay chuhura tabra tamat ko na isumatigil lalit kit ka nga ilihim hauklunga kanoharawatik ranginyik.
Member for Decho, Minister responsible for Health and Social Services.
Anak tola karinikil lang na 2018 me. Tapkot munakrihurot nutakhanik LHO nik pirakagait tabar tamat ko na nutakhanik munakrihurot pikihurot ang yokanin tabar ikakaklugo man na Northwest Territories atawlugo tamat ko tabar tait na Fort Providence nito harak tayo na tabra mikirot inawra ni tayo na hinika ilitsaka niya aktinik nagalo ni munakaringinik nutakatigun pichut. Tabra tayo na miktigun kabamakaktot. Tabra lutay na kanut nagalani na tuhakara kay putay na NWTME. Tabra tao Inuvialuktun Corporation kati maringitin na malakotaliwa kemarutapte muna. Tabra lutay na ingmikti utawak tayo na malakotaliwa kaktut. Tap ko dahil ato niya tayo na malakotaliwa akting.
And that there is an opportunity now.
Kanoka malirutaliwita ka itoak ingilyakan. Kuyanak. Inuita ay mabing ni kanoka apekroy kaptit nalurut tam na mik Child Services Act nik kanoka ukwat pinyak tuta pinyak ay ukwat kanoka kota nunyak pati ito ko tabak to tayo na ijak inyong ikayurat kuyanak o kota kanoka pinga nit social worker nik tayo hugay to ko di ikayurat inyong tama ni inara ni 6.5 got havak tut tamani Fort Providence mi got havak tut 6.5 tun havak tut Frame Lake min kalang niya kuyanak
for renaming
got kano ka
a more regionally and culturally appropriate name within a reasonable time frame, say perhaps my lifetime. Merci, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, member for Frame Lake. Minister responsible for education, culture and employment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I can't bind future governments, but I'm confident that we will see a name change in the member's lifetime, and I wish the member a very long life.
got kano ka una ilichoriving mi museum mi tai huga tuna kano ka hakarunika bihurot kano ka got kuyanak got kano ka got kano ka lichurina ka pinyak patita kano ka
Or place naming obligations. Merci, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, member for Frame Lake. Minister responsible for EC&E.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And there is still a full-time toponymist, which is now known as a cultural place.
got ka kano ka ilichurina tota got got kano ka ilichurina tota got himmer tota himmeru lugija atingit then the First Nation got kano ka himmer tota atingit renaming tai huga to got kano leka got atingit himmer tot himmer lugija atingit kano ka habak tut kuyanak got habak tot kano ka got habak parak tot kano ka tingit himmer lugija got colonial nik tai huga to got ingilaran atekak tot mini takwana kano ka Particle 13 nik tai huga kano nek pati to got EC&E mi kano ka habag kalawakata una kano ka atingit himmeru klugit got ikakaklu nundak putang got atingit himmerneartugit Inuit nagalunino iningit iningit himmerneartugit havakkaluartut uvagut pilaitsugut government GNWT kut government kuat pilaitsut aglan frame lake mina kallang niaktok kanok kuat havakpat kanok kuat kullunik ikuad lang ikualak pang niaktut ikualaniak patukuat kokolunik ukuat ikualaurauruta kulluit tamani museum mi una iglokpakpang mi ukuat kullita ikualaurauruta mani museum mi iglokpakpang mi tamna iswakuni habang nirau kikputo na kuyanak tapachamin kuyanak uko apatrulyang niya ka Justice Committee kanito na RCMP kota palihamat habang mata kanok pihuwat ukalaw tilang nga nakurogan nakuyanaktok kuat palihimanun na kulyanaktok 32 nik ugatao kanok palihiman kulakto angirit sa batamin kuata kanok pilihimat kanok palihimat habagubat kulak hiting kanok pingitpat nagalunin pihuwat kanok ukata palihimat pihurit kanok nakurokun habang niagulatut aglan Inuit hamma kolerurit nakungit habaktot nakungit chaminik kuyanak ukata palihimat kanitun 2 to 3 year tun tamani churit inarami churit palihimat kanitun kanok palihimat habaktichu baita habaktichu niakpatit kanok kanutun ukiyunik kuyanak tabachamin kanok kuat palihimat habaktot naipiktonak hirit kanok habaktot kuat ilan ni palihimat nakuro kun habalay chot habalaichit agla na naipektor nakkirit kanok habaktot kuyanok uko territorial police services in unam ika taina bihugay palihimat habaktot mani Cam Lake mi kalang niyaktok. Wana pekrilyang niya Health and Social Services minitak kanok ikayul kanok pihu batukot apekroy inyit apekroy mata kanok inyit mental health nik tayo gatuna or tukun tingming yun 10 pages 10 tun makpirat ukot policy mika malerotaliok pihurut malerotaniak maling niaklu ukot kanok maling niaklu ukot policy nik tayo gay ukot magpeak by 10 tun makperat kanok ikayun niya urut kanok lekaw kot inyong nika anektot neko Cam Lake mi kuyanak ko kakti kukot tawk matkon mani nunapting ni itot kanok ingming nyo na ingming nyo na ukot tukunyaktot suicide niktay hugay kanok habaw taribatit ukot inyi tay naktot kuyanak Health and Social Services mi kuyanak kay apekroy kavit ukot kanok ingming nyo na pilyong niyaktot kanok hakutari boy hakutari hurugut isa ko na habang nangugalok to kanok pinyak mata ingming din ukot kanok ingming dingduk kanok ilihakanyak ilihawtiniak alawait ukot habaktot tayn ikayokniak lugit ukot ingming nuna ingming ting nun pirot kanok habaw tarinyak niaklu Pigalaktuit kuyanak. Ukat pingchut ubani anyarbing mi pichok. Kanok ikayok nek patigita ukat kanok ikayok ikayungin kay ukat ingming yun pinyaktot. Kanok kanok ikayuil ba kanok ikayolugi ukat inuit tayo nang nektot kuyanak pinyarit ka kuyanak kuyanak kanok ikayonek patigit ukat anak mingurot ingming yun ukat kanok ikayoing yahurugut kanok leka pinyari tabar kuyanak Minister of Justice na kuyanak ukat palihimat kanok ukat about niyak pati ukat kanok leka kanok ukat akanat pichiro akananik nagaluni tukutaktot inuit akanat missing and murdered children, missing and murdered women tayo na. Kanok about niya kalori putag na kanok mampuimin. Inuvialuktun una kuat federal jurisdiction niktay hugay kanok about kaming unat kuat palihimat kanok behoove isang itchag tun about kaming akananik palihimat kuyanak aglanik pinyak tunga tap tuminga kuyanak kanok kuat palihimat kanok minita mumuna ikayonek pati kanok kuat habang nektot habang niyak pati kuat kanok pinyak pati kuat palihimat kanok habak tot ilichokol lang niyarit ka ilichokol niyarit ka aglan kuat palihimat kuat kanok ilichokol niyak ilichokol niyak ka lugi kuat palihimat kanok nag uhima ukwat haba kaming ilihimadot kuyanak ukwat palihimat habang mata kanok ilichokaniak lugi kanok inurat inuit Ilichorniakluidukot kanok habagurot nagalunin ha kanok itot palihimatuko ilichorin yakup kup ilichorin pata nakuyaktoka kanok inyong nika haba kami. Kuya Yellowknife North me. Kuya Kuat ikakakluin natputa kuat kanok 2020 me national. Kanok habang niyak pati kanok kuat kanok mass timber meet dai hugat kuat kanok
Municipal and Community Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the NWT is currently using the 2015 National Building Standards, or the NBC. The code permits construction of mass timber buildings up to 6 stories. The 2020 edition that the member's talking about was released in March of 2022, and the Fire Marshal Office has up to 2 years to, or until 2024 or 2024 to adopt it.
2022-24 kuat kanok kuat tikwal ng mata una murakri Fire Marshal niktay hugat na Yellowknife North and kalang nekto kuya nakatay ko 2020 mi kuat havaktot kanok uming fire prevention miktay hugat kuat igilo ikolang mata munakrit kuat iglok pagpait pa kanok kuat kanok makamin kiulang nekto NBC 2015 kuat kanok igiluni malurong ka pekharut malurong nika upkwarut 2020 code tay na tu malurong nika upkwarut uhumyo kuat aninyak pata kanok pilyam mataw kuat kanok lekha aninyak tot kayanak kuat ka iglak pagpay kanutun upkoligit kanutun kuat National Building Code niktay hugat una kanok iglunik napaktot kanok lekhaw kuat upkoligit igluta nakurukan uhima kuat nakurut makami NWT mi itok itaniktok mani kanok iglunik napirot kanok nakuro kun iglunik napirot code nik dahuga tuna. Kayanak. Ukat ukakal ng narit ka ukat Health and Social Services minita mo na pikrilang naktunga kanok ukat pulak pa tap tuma minitam ay mabemni kanok pat kauti kapting kayanak tabang port tabani pulak tang ikakaklugan nakput Aklavik North Arctic Red River Sigurchik McPherson Fort Smith mun tauk Fort Resolution mun pulak tang ikakaklugan nakput kanok kauti kaptigi nakuro pirot kuyanak ukat kanok ikayurot nakuro kun ukat kanok pinyak padid ukat kautivigi ukat munakrirot iniptingnik kuyanak kautifakneriga una minitak Richard Derricon una Ford Resolution mi kautifakneritka Arthur Beck and Chief Palsy Arthur Beck ukauti niya ukauti fakaneriga ilatni kuyanak kanok hutmakwa kanok ukauti kapti kanok humik ukakpit kuyanak ukat pakit ka ukat aglakta ukat aglait tautukit ka kanok ukauti kapti tapkot Fort Resolution mi ukat nerhiranik beach ukat kanok pifaknek pata ukat nerhiranik inaranik tamna kanoka kuat hawak pata ikayo nakluid kuat ingmin kanoka pinyaktot 6 weeks to na kuat
needs and values. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Final supplementary. Member for
Una Trinity wala de min okalang nektok. Kaya nak kakti. Tabro got lihimarot tabro tamat got Ford resolution mi kanok alalo inawra ni tot kanut naglan muna kada kabati anek to la kaditikun. Tabro tamat got malakot alengit na anek to la kadit. Tabro kaya nalingita namun kokoak ta kanak pa tay na ihmak to ni. Ihmalilak ko ni anak to likdotigun. Tabro na akang kigama. Tabro tay na kokoak naktot 911. Tabro tak NWT mi hamma na kokoak bekarmiut. Tamat ko ta kokol lagi na hapasale fi anek to lekrit
And I would suggest that that members call
tabrap ta tay na matkot kokakalu tamat munakrirot anek to lekrinik tap ko tibulle gajugit koyanak pak Herber South naga koyanak tabra una menu tabra makami tabra got kihut kanolo tamat got tukernyak patigit tabungak pata okakte tabra tok tabra lutay na tukilabut tukilagibut tamat ko nga inek pangmun hotel nun nagaluni tamat ko nga ala nun na tukko vekaktoanik tabalo ilokanyik tap ko atin na ilitsarila laruhi tap ko nuna na awla kaufi nagaluni na awla kalaktin na ilitsarap kalagi fi kaya nakpak tabro ukot tabra kafinik ininik kuleak kaktuhi kaku tabro tam na ilinyak parung tam na minihitarak makami tabro tak tay na ilitsarap kakaro na tap tumang deputy minihitarak amin apakarutak na ilitsarap kakakata tap tumang tay na tam na anilay kikput ililay kikput anilay kikput ilitsarap kalay kikput kife pangmapak kuyalakpak Herber South min kuyanak ko kakte tabrap tao ko na tabraw na minihitam mo ilitsarap kalabang tap ko nuna makamin o kakte tabraw na kakaharatikun ilitsarap ka na kafe tam na penikup tam na ililakadlag uptigo hanahoit kikpan umani tuguleni tabalo tamat ko din na insurance company nik pirakigay tabar tamat ko at lichorap kakanagit tabar taman na ilikilay tikput. Kaya na ako kakte. Herever South min. Kaya na ako kakte. Tabar tao ko at ilichorap ko ni tap tuma. Ilang at tabar ni habaw takay kapting ni Inuit ilang at tabraw ko at gila bagay Inuit na ilihimahok kangit tabrang nga kaya nak herever south me kaya nak kakte makamin minihitak tabrap tak te chomin tuat tak tabrap pang mapag na ap talaga waktu tagalan tabertap ko na ilit taberlunin kajakakpaung na hanahurjun taberni tabertap ko ilitsap ka na kapilo kahe kaya nak frame lake min taber na minihitak apakit lang na tabraw ko atit na klitso mi kaba makakto ding miktigun June 2021 mi tabraw tamat ko atit na tamat ko nga ichokadlaw akili ruti kranik utak tita kraniki tamat ko nga tabraw taxi nagpirakigay minihita ko na ilichakap kala batigut tap ko una frame leg min kaya nak tabraw kakte tabraw na kiulaw ta na chung nakalawaki gaglan ukto ka na kaya tabraw na pangmapak tabraw klitso mi ingmiktigun kaba makakto tabraw tam na ilihimagiga una MTR tap ko tabraw ilihimagit ka kanohaw tigrangit tabraw lutay na ilihimagit ka ko una titira niya kakput tam na ingmiktigun kaba makakto ta kanyakto na akibut nagalunin ibakliw tinayari mo dilitso niya pe ako ta kanoheraw tikrangin niya. Kaya na ako kakte. Tabrap daw ka tam na nakuha ka niya kaya kigutin. Tabralo tayo na inuwekto anik tayo na tabralo na ilitso ako pe ako ta tabar mukuat kaba mauro tayo na ilitso kanya tu tap ko ng kaba manin umanga emele nagalunin yung miktiun pidakibat. Tabar tam na ilitso kanya pe aklo kamilaki aklo ilitso kanya kakibut. Kaya nakakakte. O kakte tabar tawak tamat ko atin na ilan ni Pilyota kapta tabrapta ka pilyota niya bluta pirakigati tabertay na tamat ko tangong ichoting miktiun ka ba makakto tabertap ko GNWT na ikayo na kay tamat ko na hapakalakto at nagalunin hunik tayo na ito akiliw taman na habaw ta kanyakat man na matkwad wag kihip ta kaba mauragot mani pingitsugod aglantak papkop ta kaba makpaitin na kotsik to ni kaba maurot federal government nagpirakayay tanik tuntamat ko tabralitso ka kaktin nagita nagalunin ilitso ka kakpatigot ilitso ka kanyak tut tabralo tayo na tabrap tam na tutkik ka na perib. Tabratam na ilitsarap ka na fit tabratam tumuna. Ilitsarap ka nikpan nga. Kayanak kakte. Tabertay na kanok. Kanok din. Kanok din naman na hindi mapiangihan habaw takabiw. Taberlo tamat ko din na ilitsure hukit katap ko bathers me tutungit. Taberlo tamat ko daw ilitsure hukit ka. Kanok lo taberlo daw tabertay na namin nakarutinig ka muna minihitak. Nakarutitigun, nunakun. Kinyaratigun tabertam na minihitaw rok. Taberlo tayo na una pilay kilay chugud pang mapak. GNW team aglan taberni. Matkotan ngungit nunabot mi. Nunabot mi tigun tao kawamaktot tabrang mi tait na tamat koloy na pimarot tamat nunamik pimahimarot tabar tamat kot pekar na itilichar kakar na ginagulunin tap ko na nga ilichar kakada tamat ko nga kiulay kifir lano na ilichar tam na matko GNWT dili magi hawak tohi GNWT ni tabertam na kanok taman na angalat siraki bahi tamat kuno na tutun tigun sabaw na maminihitam una kiulabang tabalup tawak tayo na pang mapakilitsarap ka lang mga tamat mo na tututigun kanok kaya kawating itigun tabra ilokatay ilihim marugut kanot yung nagalaan ilihim marugut tabra tawak ilokatay inyo na ako tihim magigput taman na hibun niyok tao rugut ilihim marugut tabra lokatay ilihim magigpututut matko at napinya ka na peaktut pichuit mani nunapting ni lokatatok himagibot tabra tawak GNWT dukodit na angalat siya magay tamat kanakulo naku ito atun magay ta tamat nakadakrati na tayo na tamat ko GNWT kabamarot ilitsarap kakaibu tamat ko nuna. Kaya na tabraw na tam na apakirutak tayo makakalagtok maunga. Tabraw agalagtat utarani aktuit agalagtan na ipit kuranik. Tabraw na commission at kauklim una pitkuranga. Tabraw tamat ko dit na kanaharaw tikrabing kakaktot. Tabraw ko dit na katimarot tay na tamat ko nga titrikanya aktot. Ukakte. Tabraw na ilyakit kuit ka uminga. Man in Northwest Territories ni 2022. Kaya nako kakte. Unap tao ka, muna kariro ka, minihitak ka, nakarutitigun, nakagalo ni nunap tigun, tabertam na minihitaw roktap tumuning. Tabarlutay na tamat ko din na muna karawrunga tabarlutay na ilihimarugut March 2022 tuharo gutap ko nga kanod na naglan muna karinya nikun na nakarutitigun kayo na tabraw na 1041-1942 tam na tabra ilyakit ko kaya tap tumi nga Tabra tamat kuninga nuti tikrat. Cam like me. Kaya na ko kakte. Tabra Northwest Territories ni. Tabra got 3 and 5. Tabra got mat got umakaw klima ilichurap kakayaka tigut ilichurap kakayaka tigut nani akapira kumitigut. Legislative Assembly. Tabra Northwest Territories ni. Miss Dale here. Mani, sisamani ukiuni.
Of this appointment to the Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, member.
Oka, kuyanak okakti. Tabra naga. 10.3 bracket 3. Tabra got. Tabra ma. Ating it Thailand right. Tabra lutait na pinyao angar na lichut. Tabra kokwai. Kokwak patin nagalunin angarotin.
The member for Cam Lake.
Cam like me. Angaktok. Today will the day. E. Today will the day. E. Frame like me. Angaktok. Yellow knife nord me. E. Mom for me. Nakwariga. Nahindim. Nakwario. Yellow knife south. Nakwaramiga. Satomi. E. Nakwaramiga. Range Lake me. E. Nakwarami. Inuvialuktun Lake. Yellow knife center me. Nakwaramiga. Here north. Nakwaramiga. Inuvialuktun Lake me. Nakwaria. Angara. Sabachamin. Angara.
The results of the recorded vote, 15 in favor,
15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion is carried. Go ka nutok tao ka nutok ko na.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kuya nakakti. Kukwata una kano kukwata nunek dot kukwata iglok pakpag ni uhum kukwata iglok pait habak iglok pag ni habak dot kanok nunek pati kanok
Okay, please read your motion.
Hukat nutaka taikul lang niya taikul lang niya una. Housing iglunik habaktot kanok Inuit iglumitot tenants nik taihu tukot kanok hukot iglunik pilyavatu kot kanok Inuit luni pilyatok tot kanok Inuit kinyarnik naitot kanok ikayuilavihi kanok kot iglunik pinyaktot kanok ukwat Inuit pilyaichot kanok ikayulavihi. Okay, ingilakan ukwat itot and igiluni itot ingilakanik. NWT ukwat igilokaktut apay hami kanok ikayulavihi ukwat Inuit kanok ikayulavihi ukwat Inuit itot igiluni. Ukwat igilunik munak yuhurat ukwat kanok ukwat igiluni 20 years to na kiuni itot igiluni kanok ikayulavihi. NWT housing nika taihuga ukwat kanok ikayulavihi ukwat ukunanika inyunika kanok ikayulavihi ukwat itot housing me 20 years to 20 yukitin kanok ikayulavihi kanok iglunik tok pilyahi bat ukwat kanok iglunik pihukaloktot kanok ikayulavihi. Government ko kanok ikayulavihi ukunanik inyong nika I'm a electronic cleanup. Great leave me. Mampoy min. Kayanak. Nutak una pinyak patid. Ukwat
Hey, don't call me fucker.
Hi, my lady.
Know that in small community, Housing NWT provides the majority of housing available to people living in small and remote communities. And like I said, like we said in the motion, that many of these people have been living in these units, in the same public units for more than 20 years. And
We've got Inuit, I'm a bit, we've got Kanok, Kanok kayo labit kita, we've got in Igluni, itot, Kanutun, kayo labit hita, we've got Inuit, Igluning nektot, Kanok, we've got Pinyaraloch, Kanok, kayo labit Pinya, Pihuktot, Iglunik. I Okota kai kayul labigit ikayul labitigita okota inuita igluning nektot ingmiktin aglan iglumi itot ukiuni housing in WT got Kanok got housing minister minitak tam na tayo nalinya ko Kanok Inuit pitkungit kit ka uhimaw ko at nakura ko na inyang itchut. NWT housing ukat Kanok kayo nek pitigita ukat Inuit Kanok pinyak patukat igluning nektot mortgage nik tayo hugay ukat igluning nektot ingming nun ingming nik inar ni Inuit habaktot night shoot Kanok ikayo nek pati ukat Pinyaraloch ukat Kanok ukakti una picture aktuga ukat una nik ukuna nik igluram ni ukat Inuit angirut ubang iswak niya katka angirut kuyanak great slave men. I tap tam na nutak Kanok Kanok tam na nutak nakura kun pirok minita ko na kanok ay mabim ni inuving mi. Kuat kuat inglakan ilokaktot kanok kanok iglokaktot kuat federal government tap kuat nakuro kun iglokakawudut aglan ubabut tamani Western Miktay hugay to got 512 Nick Bihurot Inurot time na. Kanok kanok malerotaliunik iglo hakto dinubing mi kanok ikayo si
Tabraw ko iglulakirot na isum okakaragay itum na iglu pimahukpiyong nagaluni takakpiyong tayo na okarakto ning tuhalay tsunga. Ubagut alagi huta tapra malakong ni nyune akimapluta. Tamarilo kata tayo na nyune akimarugut tayo na avangani igiluani imekman na makiwang itsuami. Tabra bagut tabra kanok igilula kiruan tigun o kakapta tayo na tabra tap ko 1960s tamat ko to itkagirakaibot inyugekto tayo na napakimaro tayo manganing tabra lo tayo na kanok na kanokit na matkot na tutkikiliwi tutkikaraluwi na tuhaka na itchut tabraw na kangapak na inyo na kemrakigilumini tabraw tayo na miktigunit na napaklu kayo tigi huting nutakakait tabalog tayo na matkot na o kauti kami tigit tabalog tayo na kangit kain mao nga hapagayakin inyuwing mo hapagayakin hunigila ka ay tsokik pinigilok rakanik hunigila ka ay tsokik tigin tabalog tayo na tapkot na atong ihabot tabalog may kiwuran ni igiluling ni tabraw ako na tabraw na tulik kakatap tayo na hindi mablunga. Tabraw kayo tita tamat ko at iglulakirot igun. Iglulakirot mat ko at habang nakirot ilitso ka pa ako ting tamat ko nga iglulakirot igun. Tabraw ko tabraw na tayo na o kalait kalawak tunga tap timuro na tap tumatitun tayo na tabralo tayo na tabraw mga tayo na tao kakap ko igiluga tabraw na igiluga pinyaka na kay piyaki ka tabraw 100% tun tayo na tam na igilugay na pinyaka na kay ka tawag tayo na kanito naglanin na igilokakto dit na ingmikti ko igilokakto at inyugakto mani tabalo tayo na tunaglan igilulakiro tigunit na tunea kraming nikit na tuhakana choktait na. Tabalu tait na tawak 22 no kiunin ngurakana kaming tabrunga igilumi ila ni igilumi to ako ting igilulakirit igiluan ni tait na tawak tabar tawak kakanyura kalugu tawak kakanyura kalugu pilait kait. Tabalu tait na igilulakirot yun tait na malakotali akaktut igilulakirot malakotali ang inyi katokto akaktut. Tait na tabertam na kingin pingitsok. Tabalu tawak ta uwangap tabar igilukakto uwap kun. Kanokolo ka inyo na yakabigil lagi ga tam na igiluga. Uwanga tawak kaklugu uwap kun igilukakakalunga. Tiyan WT tawak tabar tait na
they will feel like they're creating a legacy that they can pass on to their
tabar tait na nutak kaming yun na nukti talaga itamat ko na atok heutilugo nutak kaming yun. Tabar tait na tawak na ingmigun igloka kami inyuk tabar tait na nutak kane tiki isikti takluwi dilanon igiluminyon nerep kakluwi tabar tam na tait na kone igloka kane aktut ingmiktigun. Tabar tawak kuya yakpawalitit kayo mat ko kakto iglumiktigun kuya nakpag. Techomin. Kuya nakpag o kakte. Tabar tawak ko bang ang amiga. Inuge to tait na iglulakirwani na akiliyu ako ting tait na inyo na kemarud inuge to. Tait na tabret, ingayo kaming ni inyo ako ting, angayo kaming nilo na iglukaktuani inyo ako na ako ting. Tabret tait na ako ting tait na ingming yun pekpak kutiye kutiraktu tataw himik igilo kakoting. Okalaw tikang itin na. Tabra $5 yun na tinyaramik ay chokonak patigit. Tabra tam na igilugi kutinayakin. Tayo na tunagalan. Aglaan pang mapagtay na narachok o kakti. Kuya nakpak. Tay chomin. Kuya nakpak tay chomin. Yellowknife North min. Kuya nakwakakti. Tabraw na ilihimahong na putabertam na. Tabra tayt na ilihimarugut ilokata tayt na katimarwa. Katipana katigik to ako doon ni katimabik pangmi. Tabarlo tait na ilat ni hapakalakaktud na umihulakaktud tamat kuatit na tuhakaragan may lugilo hup ka hulain may kaktilugit inyong tamat kuatit iglulakirotin minihitang itigun nagaluni iglulakirotigun. Tabra tamat kuatit na ilihimarut. Tabra na tauchikunin na kawamaurot. Tabra lutay na akili wakating tait na ilokakanekto. Tabra tait na inyugekto ani tait na inawar ni itut. Tabra na kalamakirokolongat o kakadlaki ako yanak. Frame like me. Kaya nakakakte. Tabraw na. Tam na nutin maung kaya iligit kiga. Tabraw tak.
Territories in this job, previous jobs I've had, And, I've spoken to many people about
ukota ukharil lang niyarit ka ukota Inuit kanaka inarni ukota kanaka ikayok nakiruto ukota iglunika pirot kanaka ukota iglunika pinyaktot kanoking minun tawkiklu kuyanak ukota iglunika ukakifaqaniaqtuutu uqaqillangniaqtuuta ukota kuyanak sabachami kuyanak ukota pinyaqa nuutaqa ukota pinyaria ukota habautaqik kapting ukota una nuutaqa uungaptauqa nuutaqna una malingniaria kuna kanokukota kanokuna kanokukota iglulingniaqtuata qubiatchakpaurakiliinniaquta pigumtik ukota hap housing program una ukota igluniktuata kanoqa hap housing mika ukot government ikayulginniaqait ikayurugait ukota igluning mataingmingnik kuyanak ummatingnin qubiahangnaqtoq qanoqa here south mina kuyanaqqa kota nuutat nagalunni malrungni nuutat qanoqa ukota igluningniaqtuat qalung qanoqa ubangaptauqa nakugi ataamna nuutaq tunaday waladaymin ubangaptauqa nakugi ataamna nuutaq qanoqa Inuit iglulingniaqtuat ingmingnik qanoqa una ikayornaqirut ukot Inuit taina igluningniaqtuat ukot aglaitauqa qanoqa malirutaliorniaq qaming ukot malirutalior qaming ukot nakuruakuna pinyak tuata aglanana ikayornaqirtukot ukot tauqa ukot Inuit na tangungitsaat kavamalgit kuyanak housing in WTO na kiulang na kuyanak Kanoka ukot ukarik nga to na igluning naktot kanok leka ukot kanoka ikayo na kirit kuyana. Wala nutok ukal lang naktok. Kuyana ukot kapirit. Kapirit mane kanok ikayok lunga ukot Inuit ham igluting naku powerized kanok kanok ikayo niyak patay ukot iglukaktot ay mabimni ukot kanok inarani humilya ka ukot iglukaktot kanok ikayo na kirt. Ilang ito ka nutur igluit kaming ay mabimni. Una nutak tayo ko ikayok lang kuya na. (10.3 brackets 1 nick time. Una kokola niya ito kot akapilit ukot mani iglokpak kami. Mampuemin. Tunaday waliday min. Nakuha niya kat. Grace leaf. Nahente min. Abstain. Nakungit kat. Yal knife source min. Abstain. Nakungit kat. South. Yal knife south up. Range lake min. Nakungit kat. Inuvialuktun lake. Nakungit kat. Yellowknife center min. Abstain. Nakungit kat. Yellowknife north. Abstain. Nakungit kat. Twin Lakes 4. Decho min. Hair River south min. Nakungit. Sabacha min. Nakungit kat. Cam Lake min. Frame Lake min. Yellowknife North min. Nakugigat. In favor, 0 opposed, 7 abstention. Dam na nutak nakunakok. Inuvialuktun loy sa akapiniaktok ka. Akapiniaktok. Taverni ako piving me. Frame lake mi na ukal lang niaktok. 658-19 brackets 2 got 657-19 2 table document Nick Daihu or committee. Tama lak nek tut anu fak pinyak tut kuyanak.
Committee, we've agreed to consider table document 658-19-2 supplementary estimates, operation expenditures number 1, 2022-2023 to finish it up. And I'll ask the minister if she has witnesses.
I do, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Sergeant at Arms, please escort the witnesses to the chamber and take your
Taiku kai kape. Got Kyra Bill McKay. Bill McKay. $14,762,000. Got pinyak patigit. Kuyanak. $90,000 dun kanaka pinyak patigit. Bigat. Sports and Recreation got birak dot $10,000 bigat. Got havak dot inawarni. Table document to got 658 2023 dun pinyak patiit Prime Lake min kalang niyak to una nuchuki 657-19-2 supplementary estimates. Number 1, 22-23 finance. 658 una dash 19 brackets 2. Got Kanaka about niya pati expenditures ni tayo guide number 1 22-23 una nutok Six 57-19 to unak got nagring mon itut.
Okay.
Got number 1 22-23 got $83.6 million $64.3 million dun. $9.9 million. Kaya naka kinyarating na minitak. Yellowknife North minukalang niyaktak. Kanudun kinyaranig ugat pivot. Una kinyarinik militak. $64,740,000 tun. Una bigat. Kuya 2120. 11 million tun. Tayo na pihuna kay lapsed. Ado. Pingit kat. Ukat pingit tak. Pingit tuat ukat laps nik tayo hugay kutrayo na kilang niyak tak. Kuya nak. Ukat pingit chat $115 million kinyar nik minyak tot. $11,001,000 tun pinyak tot. $125 million tun kanak pingit shot. Pingit ka to na laps nik tayo huga to na pinyangit kat. Una ukwat okari manurong una lapsik tayo huga to na pinyangit kat ukwat pinyangit kat ko na kanak. Una kinyaranik munakri. Kanok pinyak patukot kanok kinyaranik ukot pinyangit pat ukot lapsing mik tayo hugay tukot pinyangit karok kanok. Kutrayo na kilang niyak tok. Ukwat uba ukwat kanok tornek pati ukwat kanok ukwat kinyaranik kaktot pinyangit ka to na lapsing nik tayo huga to na kanak. Kanak ukwat pinyak patit. Kanok pinyak patit ukwat kanok karinyak patit ukwat kinyarakun kaktot. Kanok ukwat kaparnak ting kinyarikun. Kanok ukwat kiufarnerit ka ukwat ilok pakpang mi. kanok got makperata table nik tayo hugay table makperata ila ni akutarik habautek shot GNWT kita habautariatuna ukata tap kota ilichoy kukana kangata pillarut ukata ka table documents ning tayo hugay dukot makperata tayo wakrata ilyani kanok ukot habautari badir kanok kolelaki kutrayuna ukala ukot habak baurat $29 million dun atongonerat una pinyak tot kuyanak Yellowknife North me kuyanak apekri far nengit chunga kuyanak kanok ukata kolektot ubanga nalurunga kanutun kanok apekrinyak kuyanak frame lake me
Yeah, I want to pick up where
Tapkot ilihima ratkali tapkot isa kenyak patit kanok. Matkot nakinya ratutikrat. Tabe ukot pang mapagtay na ilitsa kanyak tu kanok matkot kinya rat ato kanyak tilak rangit. Tabe tauk tay na una $23 million yung tawak tabertam na kulekangat. Kanolong tamani ikakahluman na atutik saktam na kutsik to ani na ilitso kadakrakkan kinyarak. 60% dun nagalunin tapte mga kutsik pa kaya nak una kinya la kadinyi minihitak.
So for 22, I mean, we don't have 22-23 yet. In 21-22 at this point, Madam Chair, we're looking at about 49%, just over 49.6.
Member for Frame Lake.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. That's a problem. We can't spend 50% of the capital.
50% to no got capital nick tayo who got kanok pinyak pat kanok pinyak pati to got kinyar ni katok.
Madam Chair.
Tamat ko ilitso kluwi tabra apasaruta kilakit ka. Kaya kakti tabra tamat ko aptawkin na ilitso kadakra tamat ko na ilakira ribot tayo na ilitso kay hukuta. Tabra aptaw ka ataw himi ukiw mi kandit na nagalan. Kinyaran ni katuti at ako kapta. Kuyanak. Frame like me. Kuyanak ko kakte. Tabraw na una na hagabaktak akik kaloa na ko tamat ko nga ilitsaka follow tunga. Tabrap tawag tayo na ilo akikalo kang na atutikrak mani ilokan ataw luwid matkodit na. Tabraw una tabraw kodit na isoton tamat kod ang alam na kanya kabut. Tabraw tayo na tunagalanit na hanak pagtakluwid tipot kinyarat atokrat kanolo kinyarat $64 million tun kinyaranik. Tabraw tap ko tayo hanak pagtaktat. Tabraw ko hanak pagtaktat kanolo ting uteroming tamat ko tabraw utaniak patigitap ko ilitsyo 22-24 mo nagalan. Kotiniak patigitap ko atok tating. Tabraw ko kalagiktuk. Tayo na tabra tamat ko tabra na isim matigap kay iswak to tun iligiyut. Tabralo tayo na kulige kita kaptigit tayo na tabra lagi ala ngoraktut alagi to tun iliraktut. Kanok tam na alangok pa. Tabralo tayo na hibihurami na atok to ni. Tabralo tayo na ataramik ka hiwon mo tingin tikput tam na. Tam na tabra kabamutukot na kihu hiviaktok. Kuyanak. Tabraw kot apasuta ka palang nakataw kot. Hibulak. Tabraw na hibulak. Kakugu tak pita kinaranik atok naktilak saptingnik. Tabraw lo ilitsoranik kupta kanito nagalan atulat niptingnik. Na tamat kod nut kakti takaluit tayo makti takaluit nalo tamat kod tut kikakanayakayakabot. Kaya nako kakti. Tabrap tawak tamat kod na malako talit pekar na itawak tabrap kanok titaw tigilay tikput taman na kinyarak. Tabralut tam na tuguliran na kaya. Tabraw kod. Tabralut tayo na capital mik pinakigat kutsik tuwak. Tam na tabra atok kakop tigo. Kinyarat tabra tap kod tabra tayo na ataramik tayo na hanak pagtalo ataramik tayo na katakop tabra tam na atuk tak kinyarakit na alang hisirok tayo nakakop ataramik. Tabralut tayo na kanok. Tamat ko din yung tutin na. Inuit atok rang itit na tunagla tayo na kinyaranik atok rawrt. Kaya nak. Kinyaranik minihitak. Tabra tam na tayo oka kami na nalaw tsira kalawaktok. Tabra tam na tayo tinagalan na kinyaranik atok na aktuago tayo na tinagalan atok na yung tsugut na uwa na hanak pagtaluit nalo tay na kanya kimalreok to kaanagit kanok tamat ko da tutikret ato na yaktila krangit kaanagit tamat ko dili chakala chudu baptikun tabrap taktam na ilihima iliyakihimarugut tay na tinagalan ilihimaratu ko ta uwane akapekti kika tabralo tay na avin nga roatun itut ilangit tay na ataw chiko ngit chuatun kinyangat itok kanok tak taman na na akiliakrak atuak tabertay na tunagalantaw inmiok tabrani itumagiakrawak taw tabraglan pangmapekuli tay na tunagalan tabertay na ilihimarugutay na akiligopta aking taman na akihukirok akiliak niya ako tikrakput kinarak kaya nakpak tay na tabra tamat ko at kinarat atok paslak to ni tay na tabra kinyangatit na ito isuwang itsok tabra na akolik siya ka tabra hiwulak tabra tawakit na tinaglan tamat ko at kinyaran na katok paslak kapta na tuliahin tay na pingayot tabrap tawak tamat ko ilihaktot ilihareaktot nagalunin anneakto lakrit minihitang itay na itut tabra tay na tinaglan atok kapta tabralo tamat ko din na tay na kinyaran nikit na kuliray kitsigalo aktot aglan tay na tawak kangake chirinyak tok okay ba kaya nakwakte tabrap tawak ko na tabralo tamat ko din na habak pagtingon minyahitawrak tabralo tamat ko nga habak pang ilitsakay tuhakrakay kapta tay na tabra tamat ko at akihumute ato akratit na habak to ani tam na tabra ukpirang itiga tabra tamat ko at atok to ni natunagalan tamani territories ni habak pait na atok tuni himaru nga akihuruat tabra ilokata tay na ataw chikon tabra lutam na tay na atok rangit kalawakik put kaya nakpak okakti tabralo tay na kaya ibarong tay na tam na malakotaliak page 6 tabrap daw ko na ilitsyoki na ilihakto at minhitangat 4,803,000 talato nitok yellow knife not me okay tabraw ko at tabraw na hanaya nakat hanaya nakat ukiut kayo ilihaw rihak pata.
For Yellowknife North, any further questions? No? Okay. Department.
Tabraw na tayo na ito naglaan grade may kayayanin grade 12 mo naglaan na $893,000 to na kinyara ni katulahigat. Tabralu tamat ko aptao kit natunagalan tamat ko naangangit kalawakay ato rangit na kuleak to kanyakay. Tabra kaya ibarong tap ko dinuit. Ilo kahe na katimari mani hungit patigitam na tayo natunagalan ato kaniak tilak rangat. Ilo kahe ito akabihiw. Yellow knife north me. Kaya nak. Nit kalay changa tabar tayo na. $552,000 dun tam naptawkit na kalligay kimarok. Tabralo daw tam na huli na atokrarok kinyawanikit na minihita ko na. Kaya nakakakte. Tabrapta ko na una tayo na hawak pangnik na una minihitakin na daw ka ilyake mamiyok kanito nagalan ato kaminik nagalunin at kanito nagalan kinyaranik pihuk taminik. Ukit kayo? Tabertam na tayo na tunagalan atok ranga tayo na tunagalan ikizakuli. Yellow knife north me. Kaya na. $550,000 dun kinyaranik atok haligit shoot. Tabraw na nakangakiri atam na. Tabralo tayo na hawak tot ukot kihenik bibigit. Tabraw na ilitsarap follow kira. Ilitsarap kalaktiut kanok tam na ato kanyak tilakra nga kinyaram. $100 million tun tayo na tamat ko na to tabra tayo na tunagalan. $1 million kinyarak tayo na tunagalan kotsuktok kinyarak tayo na tunagalan ato ko na pihi tamat ko nga habak pangnik habak kopi kaya nako kakti. Tabra na hit na Kauti kaptigo. $250 million tunin na atokoro tamat ko nga tamat ko at habak pangnik habak tuat tayo na tunagalan kinyaranik atokoro.
The resources just aren't there. Thank you.
Thank you. Department of Infrastructure, Operation Expenditures, Asset Management, not previously authorized, $552,000. Does committee agree? Department of Infrastructure, Operation Expenditures, Total Department, not previously authorized, $552,000. Does committee?
$552,000 din kinyaranik atokonek tabrani tautuktoni agalaktani page 8 na kihichitinga number 8 kulit pingahut tabralo tayo na tunagalan Legislative Assembly mi wana kapirak pang mi hibon New York tini $555,000 dun na tam na hungit nyak parung. Page 9 mun kihichitingat. Tabralo tayo na tunagalan ato ka naligit pat okaw chitigun. $75,000 tun atullarut. Ili haktuanik tawak. Tabertai na tunawal grade. Miyakayayani na ili haraktuanin grade 12 managlaan tabertam na hungit parang tait na tunaglaan ato na aktot. $6,424,000 tun ato na aktila. Mat ko aptaw ka nunaptigun, nakarutitigun, tabertaman na $581,000 tun tayo na tunagalan kinyara ni katok na tap ko. Tabertaw tamat ko na tayo na tunagalan ka taberhuli isum matigiga tam na. Tabertaw tam na tayo na Taberlo tamat ko na nunat na itkagibluit. Taberlo tamat ko inyore nakirutit akaluit tamat ko itkagibluit ay natunaglan kinyara ni katok nektut. Taberlo tayo na atok nektut yellow knife north min. Kuyanak. $190,000 tunit na kuleak tangat. Tabra na isum matigigay na. Tap ko tabra tutut isumali $119,000. Dahil na tunagalan kinyara ni katok na yakto tamat kuno na tututigun. Kaya nak. Kinyara lakarit minihitangat. Tabaw na ukiw ato na alit kikput. Tabaw tayo natin. Tabaw tawak tamat kuno na nakarutitigun kaluktigun tayo na tamat ko tabaw kula tabaw tayo na tunagalan. Ilokanyik. Ilokay $3,132,000 tun na tunagalan ato na akpat. Tabalo tamat ko aptok na $4,389 tun tayo na tunagalan. Kinyara na katok na aktit. Kaya nak. Inuvialuktun na ukiw trikpan ato kakayat ukiw trikman ato kakayat tayo na tam na ato krak tayo na ukiw trikiw ngormaw ato klugo tayo naktok tuguleregiluit na ato bluni tam na tabok tayo na taramik tayo na ritsut tam na maliktuangit kat. Taberlo tam na huinya lipak pa, nagaluni lisuid lipak pa.
Member, Minister of Finance.
Wana kinyaranik mo na kri.
What was happening over the last year or so. A few comments. Firstly, that the
ukota kanoka pinyak pata kanoka kinyaraning ikay klinyak tota ukota kanoka pinyak pata kota Ukota kanoka capital investment nik tayo ukota kanoka kinyara ni katukpat. kanoko habang nekto tukot pakanya kalori puto aglana habang nektot mani kanok ibakla nektot kanok leka iswak kanya kalori put aglana ibakla klutap tau kanok kinyarnik atuktot kanok kukot atuktot kinyarnik Yellowknife North Main. Kanok atuktot kinyarnik iswak kinaktok ilichokin ang kaloktok kanok pinyakpat ukot habaktot tayo kanok pibatukot kanok habak patigit kot kanok iswak kinyak patigit kot nagalunin habak patigit ITI mo na pinyakatun ukot ukot habak tot kanok ataw chikun ukot ITI ukot taw tamani kinyarnik habak tot taw chikun habang niyakatun ukot taw kanok habag katun pirot kanok iswak kinyak lu habag kalaktot ukot about tarigat ukot taw chikun ukot ITI lu ukot lu wapting wautak kinyarnik about tarirot kaya $4,389,000 in atuktot 12 Kota kanok $10,631,000 in pinyaktot hunaman na kota atuktot $10 million in hipalik got four got atuktot 4 million kanok got pingahunik hihamanik atuktot kanok 4 pockets nik tahuga tukot kanok marine nik pirot habaktot talimanik pinyakot EMR electronic medical records na tayo ga tukot kanok kinyara kun collectot. Kanok pivot kanok pivot kinyara kun collectot. Got kanok hawak pat kanok got collect pat got kanok kinyara ni katuktot. Yellowknife Northman.
Electronic medical record system is going to cost us more than $10 million. And we're already spending $10 million here. So I guess, what am I looking for? Well, I guess a commitment perhaps to come back with when or if we have an estimate of what the total new electronic medical record system is going to cost us. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I was a bit hesitant to commit my colleagues, but certainly when there's a strategy that's underway being developed for electronic health records, it is common practice that we would, as ministers, appear in front of the standing committees with that type of information. So I'm relatively confident that my colleague won't mind me making that commitment on her behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. Department of Health and Social Services, capital investment expenditures, administrative and supportive services not previously authorized, $10,631,000. Does committee agree? Department of Health and Social Services, capital investment expenditures, health and social programs not previously authorized, $8,853,000. Does committee agree? Thank you. Department of Health and Social Services capital investment expenditures, total department not previously authorized, $19,484,000. Does committee agree? You can please turn to page 13 and 14. Department of Industry, Tourism, Investment, capital investment expenditures, economic diversification and business support, not previously authorized, $9,746,000. Does committee agree? Member for Hay River South.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can the minister confirm why we have that increase in the plant and what would be the drivers of that increase? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, there's a couple of different reasons for it. Approximately $1.8 million is due to increased costs of equipment, and that in itself is in turn due to the changes globally right now. There's a specialized equipment, and it's being impacted by the supply chain delays and being impacted by the costs on some of the basic components that go into the equipment. There's additional amounts increased as a result of change orders. There were some delays in this project, as you might recall, and as time is going on, it does seem like all costs are rising rather quickly these days. Madam Chair, just to anticipate a further question, I don't know if there's going to be some other impacts as a result of the floods. The fish plant itself was not damaged or in an area that was damaged, but I'm certainly conscious that the community itself is obviously going to be experiencing some significant impacts and will no doubt have some significant impacts on the local construction industry, including those working on the plant. Thank you.
Thank you. Member for Hay River South.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I'm interested to know if the project is on schedule and what is the projected timeline for completion. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was on schedule to be complete by November of this year. There had been some talk of even being able to go down and to do some sort of formal opening. At this point, Madam Chair, I'm not sure whether that will still be the case, whether that's due to some delays that may arise out of the flood or not. I will, when I have an update on that, I will certainly provide it to my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you. Member for Hay River South.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, and I guess that's my concern is that with the flood, I know the prime on that contractor on the plant is doing quite a bit of work with respect to the flood. So I'm just wondering if you know, if they're going to have the resources and the forces, workforce there to actually get back and put 100% effort into that plant. So it'd be good to know that, and Minister can get back to me later on that one. The second, another question is talking about equipment and waiting for it. Will any of the equipment be coming from the old FFMC plant? And if so, will there be any additional costs with that? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I don't have the breakdown or the details of the project specifically here. I mean, we would have in front of us here really just information about carryovers or lapses. But so I don't think so. I will confirm that and let a member know. But my understanding and recollection of this project is that it was being specially designed. It was specially designed to be CFIA compliant and under the sort of the watchful eyes of Memorial University, who have some specialty in this area. So with all that, I know that they were looking largely at new things and new equipment in order to be compliant and in order to meet those specifications. Again, if I'm incorrect, I will certainly update the member. Thank you.
Thank you. Member for Hay River South.
Further questions? Thank you.
Department of Industry, Tourism Investment, Capital Investment Expenditures, Economic Diversification and Business Support not previously authorized, $9,746,000. Does committee agree? Department of Industry, Tourism Investment, Capital Investment Expenditures, Mineral and Petroleum Resources not previously authorized, $2,176,000. Does committee agree? Department of Industry, Tourism Investment, Capital Investment Expenditures, Tourism and Parks not previously authorized, $2,736,000. Does committee agree? Department of Industry, Tourism Investment, Capital Investment Expenditures, total department not previously authorized, $14,658,000. Does committee agree? Thank you, committee. Please turn now to page 15 and 16 of the table document. Department of Infrastructure, Capital Investment Expenditures, Asset Management not previously authorized, $20,274,000. Does committee agree? Member for Frame Lake.
Thanks, Madam Chair. So this is, I think, the largest item in the SUP. And it seems to be a big area of our spending as well. So I guess the question I want to ask is, were there any projects from 21-22 or 2020, 2021 that were carried over but lapsed and taken out of the capital plan? I'm not sure if I'm making any sense. Is there stuff that we're not seeing here that's been lapsed totally, is not going to come back in the books, it's not part of the capital plan? Thanks, Madam Chair.
Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, readily we don't have an answer to that question. So I will certainly make a commitment to go and confirm both with Department of Infrastructure as well as Department of Finance to see if, my understanding is, if there's projects that had been previously carried over and that now are going to be lapsed and not advanced is what I'm hearing. If I will go and double check on that, as I've said. Yeah, there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that commitment. Member for Frame Lake.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, and I appreciate the position the minister's in. This coming as a bit of a surprise, but I think we're trying to figure out how to make this a more transparent process for everybody. And so one of the issues that I've got with the capital planning, the way that it's been done is, members sit in the chamber they get the capital estimates, they vote on them. Most members vote in favor, even this lowly member occasionally, but not probably in this assembly. So members vote in favor of projects in capital estimates, but then somehow during the course of a year, something doesn't happen, a project doesn't go ahead, and nobody ever finds out about it until maybe it comes back as a zombie project in a SUP. So is there a way in which members can actually, after they've given approval to capital estimates, there's a capital budget, how do members find out if projects don't go ahead? Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, Madam Chair, I suppose there's a few different ways that one might do that. Certainly, when there's particular projects that are being followed along, that's certainly one way. And I certainly answered questions on ITI projects, for instance, or some of the finance systems projects. That I recognize that's not necessarily the broad brushstroke that's being sought here. It may well be that we need a different type of tracking system that monitors and tracks the delivery of projects. That's certainly when we're talking about, when I have spoken about recently procurement shared services and the procurement one-stop shop meant to be a better repository of information about what is happening with procurement of projects. So we'll certainly look back to see if in fact that type of information is there. That site is only just going live quite recently. So again, maybe some room to ensure that it's achieving that goal of providing that kind of public tracking, or that this might be an opportunity to see that it does do that in fact. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member for Frame Lake.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, I appreciate that from the Minister. I think that's the kind of transparency, accountability, and sharing of what should be publicly available information that I'm looking for. So I'm happy on that one. The other question I want to ask is, and I would have asked it at the beginning, but I'm going to try to sneak it in here. We're getting really close to the reserve for the entire supplementary estimates, and I think some of it is largely due to spending on asset management in particular, but what happens, we've only got, I think, 11 million, maybe the Minister can tell me how much is left in the reserve and what happens if we get any closer to it. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So there isn't, as part of the overall fiscal plan or picture, a capital reserve. The supplementary reserve, which we spoke about yesterday, yes, that was sitting at 35 million this year, and is definitely seeing a fair bit of pressure on it right now. But when we're funding capital projects, you have to fund the capital projects 50% out of surplus dollars, and then the other 50% would typically come from some form of borrowing. So to the extent that we are eating into or increasing our capital spend, we are drawing that down from the projected surpluses that we are holding on to, and in compliance with the fiscal responsibility policy. That or going in for borrowing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member for Frame Lake.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair, and thanks to the Minister for that. I guess maybe I might suggest then that in the review of the fiscal responsibility policy, that this idea of a reserve on the infrastructure side is something that the department might look at. Is that something that they could consider? Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And as I mentioned earlier, Madam Chair, there is an existing commitment to look at the fiscal responsibility policy, so this certainly may well be that opportunity. And similarly, as I'd said, there's ongoing work happening with respect to the reporting on contracting and procurement more generally, so this may also be that opportunity to look at, to look there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Department of Infrastructure, Capital Investment Expenditures, Asset Management not previously authorized, $20,274,000. Does committee agree? Oh, member for Hay River South.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to go to these culverts in highway reconstruction. This spring we had a number of washouts on Highway 1, and which required some, a lot of labor and equipment. And I see with the culverts there, will some of that work take into account, some of the issues that we did experience this spring, or is that going to be additional funds we'll be looking for? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this spring's culvert work would come out of what would have been appropriated as part of the usual appropriations. So this is for work that was underway or not completed, but underway or begun last year. The annual amount that is budgeted for culvert work, I gather, is $7.5 million, and that remains unchanged. Thank you.
Member for Hay River South.
So, thank you.
Department of Infrastructure, Capital Investment Expenditures, Asset Management, not previously authorized. Member for Yellowknife North.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I just want to speak in support about how helpful I would find some sort of database of all the current projects and some sort of status to look at. It would also be my dream that, as I've spoken about before, we approve capital projects, and when we do that, we are not allowed to say the total cost of the project. But the minute that we are allowed to say that, if such database could include that information, so I don't have to come back and keep asking how much a project costs to get the public figure out eventually. And I know sometimes you can do that by going through all the contracts reports and adding them all up for a specific project, but you actually probably can't figure it out properly. But I did have a question as well. I'm just trying to understand this $125 million in lapsing. We are not spending $125 million. If the minister could just give me what she believes is causing this, and I mean, is any of that political FMB decisions where they go, listen, we're just not doing this project anymore? Or is it FMB going to departments and saying, you don't meet the criteria to carry over? Or is it, I guess, is it one of those two things or something else? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I don't have the number, the 125 number in front of me. So I just want to be clear that I'm not going to speak to a specific number. And I know it does seem that there may be some different numbers where we somehow have managed to operate it on once again with these different documents. But the crux of it and the point of the question, as I understand, is really, again, how are projects that are not seeing carryovers, what is happening to them, and where are those decisions? So projects don't necessarily they're not getting canceled. We're not doing a cull. That's not how the item comes forward. What does come forward is the request to carry over. So the departments would look at the projects that are underway or in planning or have contracts that have been signed, obligations established, and then those come forward to be approved for carryover. And that's what would be in front of the House now. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Member for Yellowknife North.
Yeah, thank you. Well, and I guess I wonder then, is any of that lapse a department has just simply not applied for a carryover and then they didn't get it, or is there a capacity issue in actually reapplying for the money to be carried over, or are they just actually don't have contracts in place or significant progress, I guess, on those? Thank you.
Thank you, Member. Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, departments certainly don't need to apply to carry over their funds. So, I mean, that's where we get into the situation where, each department does have their projects for which they're responsible. Obviously, infrastructure has a fair chunk that they're delivering on behalf of others as well, but it is up to an individual department if they want to seek to have a carryover or not. And I can't really speak for those individual decisions, but if it overtly doesn't meet the criteria of the carryover definition, that may be a reason not to, but then again, the explanations as to why something might be delayed could be a reason to do in favor of a carryover, or seek the carryover. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Department of Infrastructure Capital Investment Expenditures, Asset Management, not previously authorized, $20,274,000. Does committee agree? Department of Infrastructure Capital Investment Expenditures, Programs and Service not previously previously authorized, $7,811,000. Does committee agree? Thank you. Department of Infrastructure Capital Investment Expenditures, total department, not previously authorized, $28,085,000. Does committee agree? Please turn to page 17 of the table document. Department of Justice Capital Investment Expenditures, corrections, not previously authorized, $780,000. Does committee agree? Department of Justice Capital Investment Expenditures, court services, not previously authorized, $175,000. Does committee agree? Justice Capital Investment Expenditures, services to the public, not previously authorized, $298,000. Does committee agree? Justice Capital Investment Expenditures, total department, $1,253,000. Does committee agree? Thank you. Please turn to page 18 of the table document. Department of Lands, capital investment expenditures, operations not previously authorized, $310,000. Does committee agree? Agree. Department of Lands, capital investment expenditures, total department not previously authorized, $310,000. Does committee agree? Agree. Thank you, committee. Do you agree that you've concluded consideration of table document 657-19, two supplementary estimates, infrastructure expenditures number 1, 2022 and 2023? Agreed? Agreed? Okay. Member for Frame Lake.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. I move that consideration of table document 657-19 brackets 2, supplementary estimates, infrastructure expenditures number 1, 2022-2023 be now concluded, and that table document 657-19 brackets 2 be reported and recommended is ready for further consideration in formal session through the form of an appropriation bill. Merci, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The motion is in order. To the motion. Question has been called. All those in favor? All those opposed? All those abstaining? Motion is carried. Table document 657-19-2 will be reported as ready for consideration in formal session through the form of an appropriation bill. Thank you, ministers, and thank you to the witnesses for appearing before us. Sergeant at Arms, please escort the witnesses from the chamber.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Committee, we've agreed to consider Bill 40, an act to amend the Medical Profession Act. I will ask the Minister of Health and Social Services to introduce the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm here to present Bill 40, an act to amend the Medical Profession Act. The purpose of this bill is to allow for regulation of physicians providing virtual care to NWT residents. The use of virtual care has greatly increased, in large part due to the limit of in-person contact and medical travel during the COVID-19 pandemic. We engaged with physicians throughout the development of this bill and have committed to undertake a collaborative approach to physician regulation. We know that this work needs to be informed and supported by these professionals. I appreciate the Standing Committee on Social Development's willingness to work with us to further amend the bill based on the feedback we received from the committee and medical professionals. The major amendment in this bill exempts physicians in other provinces and territories from having to register to provide virtual care to NWT residents if they have a referral from an NWT doctor or nurse practitioner. Physicians in other provinces and territories within the NWT referral pathways do not have to be licensed in the NWT in addition to their home jurisdiction. This exemption allows greater access to services for residents while reducing administrative burden for physicians. We've heard that too much paperwork to be licensed means physicians will withdraw their services from the NWT. Second, the amendments also clarify that physicians must abide by professional standards of practice. The standards of practice set out the minimum expectations of care provided by physicians. Currently, this is an oversight not included in the Medical Profession Act. An amendment to the bill adds a new regulation-making power that allows for the standards of practice to be created or adopted. We have a well-established relationship with the College of Physicians and Surgeons for Alberta. For many years, the complaints officer under the Medical Profession Act has been contracted through the college, which gives advantages of economies of scale, expertise, and resources that are not available in the Northwest Territories. With the Alberta College's full knowledge and support, work has been ongoing since 2019 to adopt standards of practice for NWT physicians that are similar to standards set by the Alberta College. The Alberta College's standards are consistent with the standards of practice for physicians in all other provinces. This work was initiated by the complaints officer under the Medical Profession Act. The Territorial Medical Director at the Northwest Territories Health and Social Services Authority and the Department have been working on adapting the Alberta Standards of Practice to align with the NWT legislation and is working collaboratively with the NWT physicians to finalize them. That concludes my opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister, would you like to bring witnesses into the chamber?
Please.
Sergeant-at-Arms, please escort the witnesses into the chamber. Minister, please introduce your witnesses for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On my left is Sherry Jarrock, Legislative Counsel, and on my right is Kelly Mahoney, Director of Policy for the Department of Health and Social Services.
Thank you. I will now turn to the Chair of the Standing Committee on Social Development, the committee that reviewed the bill, for any opening comments on Bill 40. Member for Kamloops.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, Bill 40, an act to amend the Medical Profession Act, received second reading in the Legislative Assembly on November 26, 2021, and was referred to the Standing Committee on Social Development for review on March 28, 2022. Committee sought and received an extension to our review period. On May 19, 2022, the Standing Committee held a public hearing with the Minister of Health and Social Services and completed its clause-by-clause review of the bill. 10 motions were carried by committee and concurred with by the Minister. I thank the stakeholders who provided feedback, members of the Standing Committee for their efforts in reviewing this legislation, and of course the Minister of Health and Social Services for her collaboration in improving this bill together. Individual members may have additional comments or questions. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I will now open the floor to general comments on Bill 40. Member for Frame Lake.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I want to thank the committee and the Minister for the work on the bill. I was able to sit in on a lot of the committee proceedings and discussions, deliberations about this bill. The one improvement that the Minister did not mention that I think is worthy of highlighting here is that the addition of Section 24.1, which modifies the way in which the work on regulating the medical profession is going to change. This new clause, which was proposed by the committee, and accepted by the Minister, but it was proposed by the committee, requires that there be consultation with the Northwest Territories Medical Association. It's not in the existing legislation, so I think this will create a higher level of comfort moving forward. I think there were some miscommunications around how the profession is actually regulated in the North, and perhaps some misunderstanding about how the medical profession is regulated in the Northwest Territories. But I think with the addition in particular of this clause, I think it's created a level of comfort that was not there before and some protection for the medical profession. So I want to thank the committee for their work on this. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any further general comments? Is the committee agreed that there are no further general comments? Oh, member for Great Slave.
Sorry about that, Madam Chair. Thank you. I just wanted to comment that I appreciate everybody that did input on this bill. As I'm still learning how the legislative process all works, I found it to be one that was informative and showed me how things could shift and change as we worked through it, and appreciate the adaptability of the department and such. I guess the one comment I just wanted to make was that I find it quite interesting, the parallel to a profession like engineering that I am more familiar with the regulation of, and then the doctors and the medical professionals. So I guess I just have more of a comment that we love to take from others, and I think that that NAPEG and the engineers and other professional associations could probably help guide this work further if we were to move towards a self-regulating group. Thank you.
Thank you, member. Are there any further general comments? Does the committee agree that there are no further general comments? Can we proceed to the clause-by-clause review of Bill 40, an act to amend the Medical Profession Act? Committee, a number of clauses were deleted during the Standing Committee on Social Development clause-by-clause review of Bill 40 on May 19, 2022. The reprint before us today indicates where those clauses were deleted. As the clauses were deleted by Standing Committee with a concurrent of the Minister of Health and Social Services, they are not part of the bill before us today, and we will not be voting on them. Committee, we will defer the bill number and title until after consideration of the clauses. Please turn to page 1 of the bill. Clause 1. Does committee agree? Clause 2. Does committee agree? Clause 3 and 4 were deleted in Standing Committee on May 19, 2022. Clause 5. Does committee agree? Clause 6. Does committee agree? Clause 7. Does committee agree? Clause 8. Does committee agree? Clause 9. Does committee agree? Clause 10, does committee agree? Clause 11, does committee agree? Clauses 12 through 19 were deleted in Standing Committee on May 19, 2022. Clause 20, does committee agree? Clause 21, does committee agree? Clause 22, does committee agree? Clause 23 was deleted in Standing Committee on May 19, 2022. Clause 24, does committee agree? Clause 24.1, does committee agree? And Clause 25, does committee agree? Committee, to the bill as a whole, does committee agree that Bill 40, an act to amend the Medical Profession Act, is now ready for third reading? Thank you, committee. Does the committee agree that this concludes our consideration of Bill 40, an act to amend the Medical Profession Act? Thank you, committee. We have concluded consideration of Bill 40, an act to amend the Medical Profession Act. Thank you, Minister, and thank you to your witnesses. Sergeant-at-Arms, please escort the witnesses from the chamber. Member for Frame Lake.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I move that the Chair rise and report progress. Merci.
There's a motion on the floor to report progress. The motion is in order and non-debatable. All those in favour? All those opposed? Motion is carried. I will now rise and report progress.
May I please have the report of Committee of the Whole, member for Inuvialuktun Lakes.
Mr. Speaker, your committee has been considering table document 658-19-2, table document 657-19-2, Bill 40, and I would like to report progress with 2 motions carried. That Bill 40 is ready for third reading. That consideration of table documents 658-19-2, 657-19-2 are concluded, and that the House concur in those estimates, and that an appropriation bill to be based thereon be introduced without delay. And Mr. Speaker, I move that the report of the Committee of the Whole be concurred with. Thank you.
Thank you, member for Inuvialuktun Lakes. We have a seconder. Member for Nivik-Boot Lake. All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? The motion is carried. Third reading of bills. Third reading of bills. Mr. Clerk, orders of the day.
Mr. Speaker, there will be a meeting of the Board of Management at the Rise of the House in Committee Room A today. Orders of the day for Friday, June 3rd, 2022, 10 a.m. Prayer, minister statements, member statements, returns to oral questions, recognition of visitors in the gallery, acknowledgements, oral questions, returns to written questions, replies to Commissioner's address, petitions, reports of committees on the review of bills, reports of standing and special committees, tabling of documents, notices of motions 58-19-2 and motion 59-19-2, notices of motion for the first reading of bills, second reading of bills, consideration in committee of the whole of bills and other matters, bills 23 and 29, committee reports 30 and 31-19-2, report of committee of the whole, third reading of bills, bill 40, orders of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This House stands adjourned until Friday, June 3rd, 2022 at 10 a.m.